country cannot be run by just a clique of individual or particular family. The stakeholders also matter a lot and value a lot in as far as running day-to-day activities of a country is concerned. So I would like really to thank Honorable Matthias Mpuga for that. And two, I would also like to keep also pushing for the issue of the demand for the immediate release of Segrinya's Honorable Mohammed Segrinya. Let's keep demanding for them at whatever cost, or if even they want something else, we shall go demand for them physically, whatever they are. So let's keep demanding for the immediate release of Honorable Segrinya, Mohammed Segrinya, a member of Parliament for Kawempe. We also keep demanding for the immediate release of Honorable Alan Sewanyana, the member of Parliament for Machende. Yeah, so we keep demanding for them, and we should keep exerting more pressure on government to ensure that these gentlemen or these leaders are released unconditionally. Issues of pinning. The other day I was on a live stream here talking about how government is trying to by the way, Museveni and Salim Saleh and the other first family members know very well the people who have been doing or committing all the atrocities in Masaka. Let them go and hunt for the individuals who did those atrocities, not framing people. You see, like when they tried Alan, when the killings in Masaka sparked, they started framing Honorable Alan Sewanyana and Mohammed Segrinya that they were the ones killing, or they were the ones doing this. You get it? So later when they started framing Honorable Alan Sewanyana that they were the ones doing this. So when they saw the society or the community were not believing in what they were saying, they came and started framing Colonel Kaka, the former issue director. These guys here know very well the people who have been behind the killings and the massacre in Masaka. They know very well, but I don't know why they are not going for those individuals. Instead, they are framing innocent people and making them appear dirty. You see, that is how we are abusing the authorities that have been given to us by the people. So it's important that right now we open up our eyes. One, we begin demanding seriously and we keep exerting enough pressure. One, government should release those colleagues or those honorable members of parliament whom they've arrested and are criminalizing and they are pinning wrongly or for their own selfish intention. Then two, let them go for the people. Segrinya who even doesn't know how to hold a gun. Alan Sewanyana, who, you are pinning them, but they were, first they were the ones, involved in the massacre. Yet, first of all, towards the election, this something that everybody saw. Towards the election, you saw what happened. One, when government was on pressure, when the citizens of Uganda had shown that they wanted change, Chagulanyi was all over and was a people's darling at that time. And you really saw what happened. Government had to go and hire mercenaries, soldiers from Somalia, those from Angola. They even hired weapons from Sudan, from the neighboring countries to help protect the already falling government then. You get it? So they hired a lot of mercenaries. If I told government was really serious and really took serious in the matter of massacre, government would have just a full battalion with all the weapons that we have. They would have deployed in massacre. But they waited all those things to happen. Now they are beginning to frame people who even are not aware of what could have happened there, who would have even never appeared there. Segrinya, Mohammed Segrinya, who has been just an activist. You've been seeing Segrinya. Can Segrinya really hold a gun? Oh, what does Segrinya have in his heart to begin saying that you go and kill these people, where National Unity Platform got even majority votes, by the way, in massacre. There was an overwhelming support in massacre. So you cannot really justify. So when they saw that the society was not believing in them, in what they were saying, they started playing drama. They came and started again on issues of, they started again framing Kano Kaka, former director of ISU. That's when they saw the society was not believing in them, when they stated that it was the Segrinya and Alan Sewanyana who were the ones sponsoring the killings in Masaka. Now they brought Kano Kaka in the face of the thing, that he was the one facilitating one. Now, what is the problem with these people? They've stolen our votes. They've done all the nasty things that they could do, they wanted to do. They've thugged the state. They have turned the national treasury into personal, in family asset, into ATM for the family. They've done, now they again coming to destroy, to spoil the little peace we have. Why are they jealous? Why are they really jealous? Anyway, the issue is we should keep focus and demanding for the immediate release of Alan Sewanyana and Mohamed Segrinya. Those members of parliament should be released unconditionally. And if they want to see real pressure, we shall also give them what they want, if at all that is what they want. But see, right now, let's keep talking, publishing, tweeting, and, and doing whatever we can at our own means, using our social media and all those stuff. Two, I would like to appreciate the diaspora team, the leadership of Aman and Eviona, starting from all what happened in Boston, what the South African colleagues did yesterday. I would like to appreciate them. They're really doing something very good in as far as exposing this regime is concerned, this bloody regime is concerned. Diaspora team has really done wonders in as far as exposing this regime is concerned. And if the same spirit that the diaspora team has, the diaspora teams have, is the same spirit we have in Uganda, I still assure you 100% change is coming. Change is coming. Let's wait and let's prepare for it. You can escape everything, but you can never escape nature. You can never run away from nature. So that is something that I still believe and still strongly hope for, that we will see what we've been fighting for, the fruits we've been fighting for. I still strongly believe that those fallen soldiers who died, people like Rita, people like Sentesa Frank, people like Avuma, people like everybody who died, they did not die in vain. Every foot soldier or innocent Ugandan that was killed, especially in the November massacre that happened, in Kampala, you saw what happened in Kampala towards the election. Those people did not die in vain. They died for a purpose. Just like they said it, sometimes back at revolutionaries, the tree of liberty is watered by the blood of heroes. It meant that people have to die when change is coming. But it is not something that anybody would want to see. But because dictators cling to power and would want to do anything possible within their means to ensure that they keep power. Just like you saw during the elections, they had to hire soldiers, armies from Angola, armies from Sudan, armies from Ethiopia, Somalia. They had to hire machines. They even had to bring guns, which we had never seen in our lifetimes, in Kampala or in Uganda, where pressure was on a falling government of General Museveni. I remember sometimes back coming on a live stream and telling you that every parliament has its own problem or has its own temptation or test of time. The previous parliament, which was the 10th parliament, had issues of age limit. And you saw, first of all, the 9th parliament had issues of term limit. The 10th parliament had issues of age limit. And you saw what happened. Now the 11th parliament is going to be faced with the Muhoozi project. This is something that we should fight. We should die fighting. This Muhoozi project, how can you turn a family into a business whereby you think, is this a monarchy or an anarchy? Whereby you think, a monarchy, or a kingdom, where you think when the king dies, the son should inherit. Oh, when this madness will have to stop. I see already all over Uganda, especially in northern Uganda, you see some idiots running around with some leaflets. Muhoozi project. This nonsense must stop. And we should fight this thing, especially with the young people. Let me tell you one thing, there is no anywhere we are going to apart from Uganda. You get it? This is our only home. This is our everything. This is our everything. And this is our country. This is our future, our everything. So we must fight and we must die protecting it and defending it at all cost. Because if we keep quiet and we back down, if we keep quiet and we back down and see this idiot ruin our country, there are some people in Uganda who think when they die, they should die with everything. They think when they die, they should die with everything. And they don't leave anything for people to benefit from. Who tells you that? In those days, we used to really appreciate the elderly. We used to pray that they live long. But nowadays, because of what some elderly people are doing to the young generation, we are praying that they die very fast so that they live for us, the country. We can run it. That is how things have gone. So the thing is very clear. We should fight and defend our country. That is, you see, just like the Israelites left from Egypt to the promised land. The promised land that is talked about in the Bible, Uganda is our promised land. There is no anywhere where there is nowhere we shall go to there is nowhere we shall go to after ruining our country. There is nowhere we shall go to. So this is our everything. You get it? This is our everything and our future, our life, our everything. That's why we must die, fight, defending it. Issues of Semanya. Just like the other time, I was pissed and I was very annoyed when I saw Ugandan media houses publishing on how Chameleon got a new car from Toyota, the brother of Museveni. As if, now, should that really be in news? Is that worth something talking about? What value does the Chameleons getting a car add to the struggle, or add to the future, or add to the life of a common man in Uganda? These are things that we should be talking about. You see, we should be talking about the impunities of the regime. What actually right now, the media houses of Uganda, if they're really sober and they really understand what a common man is going through, should have been flooded with how the state is just stupidly just pinning innocent citizens like Alan Sewanyana, Segrinya on issues that they do not even understand. You heard what Nabanja was saying yesterday in Parliament. Those are the kind of people we have as our leaders. Sometimes I wonder how some people are really voted to Parliament. That Parliament of Uganda, I don't want to say anything about it, but it has really disappointed the citizens of Uganda. The Parliament of Uganda has really disappointed the citizens of Uganda. We are really so disappointed with that Parliament. I'm really, for one, very disappointed with the Parliament of Uganda, the way it executes and the way it does its thing. Because it's for several times that has been destroying us. It means misrepresenting the interests of the common man. Misrepresentation, Parliament is the best in that. Now, you talk about issues of the massacres, the killing. They are pinning Segrinya and Alan Sewanyana. They are pinning Segrinya and Alan Sewanyana on the issue of the killings in massacre. How about the killings in Karamoja? How about the massacre that has been happening in Karamoja? Who should be pinned? They are pinning those gentlemen that they are claiming that the Miloland system is the one which is giving problems to Ugandans in as far as the running of day-to-day administration of land is concerned. How about the land grabbing, whereby over 25,000 people are being evicted of their lands in Acholi sub-region in Amuro district? Is that also the Miloland system or the Miloland system? Now, they are talking about that issues of, they've been making noise. You've been seeing them around making noise that the issue, first of all, in the issue of land grabbing, in the issue of land grabbing, in Apa, you hear UWA, the Uganda Wildlife Authority, saying that that land was that land belongs to the Uganda Wildlife Authority. So that's why they are evicting the citizens of Uganda from there. Now, do you give priority to animals over human beings, which pay tax and which is responsible for protecting those animals? They talk about issues of climate change, entrenching and really dilapidating situation in Uganda. Museveni just recently, Museveni gave Bogoma forest in Bunyoro land, in Ohima, something around Ohima there. He gave a forest to these foreign investors, to plant sugarcane. So now, a natural forest which grew by itself, you are giving it out to foreigners to plant sugarcane, which is even, which is not, is not going. This is not sustainable, by the way, to give land to a forest reserve, a natural forest reserve to foreigners to plant sugarcane. And that's the impunity we're having there. In Mabira forest, Mabira now, when you go to Mabira, you just want to see it from the roadside. Inside Mabira is all cut down. No, there's no tree inside there deep. I remember even seeing a school. There was a school constructed in Mabira forest. And we're saying that we are fighting climate change in Uganda. That's what government says. And they get a lot of money from these donors, the United Nations, they get money from World Bank, they get money from International Monetary Fund in the name of advocating and defending the climate change fracas and all those stuff. Anyway, leaving that matter, I'm coming to the main issue at hand that brought me for tonight's discussion, or for today's discussion. You see, there is something that I should tell you. In Uganda right now, we have what we call leadership crisis. There is a very big leadership crisis, whereby the old people, this kind of trend started some 10 years ago. It started some 10 years ago, whereby the old people, whom we call senior comrades, are very jealous, and they are not mentoring people to take up their leadership position or their position at a certain point. They look at young people as threats. And this has really affected the quality of graduates we have in our learning institutions in Uganda. But by the way, our learning institution in Uganda is also in an alarming state. That's like you had me say the other time, or talk about in the previous live stream that I did in this same platform, on this same platform. The issue of a leadership crisis is a very pertinent issue that if we do not address right now vigorously and very drastically, tomorrow, even the Uganda we are fighting for, we will not have sober people to take up. You know, we've gone through a lot of problems as Ugandans. In northern Uganda, we went through war for over 20 years. People were killed, others were cooked, others, very many stupid things were done. In Luero, in Buganda region, in Luero, let me say central Uganda, you remember Luero Triangle War. Very many people were lost. Very many people died. Everywhere there has been a crisis. In Karamoja, in Buganda, even right now, up to in Masaka, you find people being killed. Innocent people. According to what I heard, is that the area where the killings has been so rampant is the area where the oil project, or the oil project is going to pass. The East African, the ECO, the East African Oil Corporation, something, where the Uganda-Tanzania oil project. So that is the area where the compensation has to be done. So I don't know where they're ripping out the old people said that, you know, they cheat on the young ones. But that is the area where compensation is supposed to be done. That's where the killings has been very rampant in Masaka. You know, I don't understand the math or the calculations behind the killings and all those stuff. So that is still this very same issue. I'm still talking about issues of leadership crisis, gap between the young generation and the older generation. These old dwarfs, these old dudes look at us as threats to them. You know, they look at us as we are threats, as we are, you know, they look at us as enemies. That is why young people are, know the mentorship that they got in that time. We are no longer getting it these days. You know, in Acholi we have a statement that la tien pour la chiel donc bon chier ki wie ko la tien ki donc ko wa tiene ki la tien a wobe la tien a cho ko wa tiene ki come, you know, or this is something which is very crazy. We have to talk about this, and these are things that we need. Anyway, before I continue with that, let me first go to the main issue that has really brought me out, and I'm really very pissed in Fulenga njagala kuzima matami omuntu nemikonde konsonga eno is the issue of the mobile money. The mobile money, do you know, I don't know whether you Ugandans know about what this government has done, or the law this government has passed and they have implemented already about the mobile money and the transaction, or about the Airtel money, or about even the bank transaction. First of all, according to the law, this law was passed last year, by the way. We begged NBS, we begged Daily Monitor, we begged NTV, we begged this national media, the mainstream medias in Uganda, we begged them to publish it. But none of them published it until when they felt ashamed recently. That's when they came out and published, when the thing was passed last year. First of all, the law on mobile money right now states that, according to what is right now in Uganda, that is the recent law that they've passed. I say this parliament of Uganda has really misrepresented us. Let me tell you, right now, on mobile money, if you put your money on mobile money or Airtel money and it stays for 2 months, you know, for 2 months, yes, no, for 9 months, and it stays for 9 months without you using it, government in Uganda will go and has already powers to remove it from your mobile or Airtel money account and take it to what we call the consolidated fund. If your money in the bank stays for 2 years without any transaction done, you know, they will remove your money from your bank account and take it to what we call consolidated fund. You first listen, let me repeat this to you and you get it very well. This is why I stated that you needed to tag very many people or elites, people we call elites in Uganda, into this. Now, I'm saying that according to the law that Parliament of Uganda and Museveni, the NRM caucus and Museveni passed, is that if you have money, if you have kept money, if you keep money in your Airtel money Oh, mobile money for MTN, Airtel money for Airtel, or mobile money for MTN. And it stays for 9 months without any transaction. Let's say you have 1 million in your mobile money account or Airtel money, and it stays there for 9 months without any transaction. They will remove that money and take it to consolidated fund. Government already has power. Bank of Uganda has power. They will remove it and take it to consolidated fund. 2, if you keep money in your bank account and it stays for 2 years, without any transaction, they will remove that money and take it to consolidated fund. Now, what I say consolidated fund, the meaning of consolidated fund is that a consolidated fund is a kind of basket where money which government enterprises, which has no use are kept. Let me say, money which has no use are taken and kept there. And this is how these guys have been abusing that. Very many monies, like for instance, in very many districts in Uganda. Now, this brings me to some technical thing. Now, first of all, initially, how government entities work. Previously, before Museveni started squeezing wealth for themselves, is that when a district, let me say the Wakiso district or Kampala districts make a budget of a financial year, 2021-2022, they send to the Ministry of Finance. Okay? This is something which used not to happen, by the way. But it's just happening of recent. Previously, before the Musevenis came in power, every district collected its revenue and ran its affairs. It collected its revenue, like Kampala district collects its revenue and runs its affairs. But now, first of all, money is collected currently according to the current system in Uganda. Finance system, administration, government money, how money is managed. Money is collected from all over the country and taken to the Bank of Uganda, to Ministry of Finance. Now, it's Ministry of Finance to keep the money. Now, when money is processed, is collected like in form of revenues from across the country and taken to Ministry of Finance, all districts again have to write requisition for financial years to be funded. To Ministry of Finance, let me say like the Kampala district this year needs 28 billion to run a financial year. It will write requisition to Ministry of Finance. And Ministry of Finance will have to take process, go through and also then release money and take it back to district account. This used to not to happen. But now, before, initially, to make matters worse, initially, those days, actually, when districts makes project, or when district plan or makes a budget, contractors are given project even before they are paid. Such that if money comes now to the district account from the main account of the finance ministry, when money comes, those people are just now compensated after contractors could have even done the project long time and the project could have been lively and could be seen. Let me say road construction or market. And also, the contractors who had money did not wait for the Ministry of Finance to send money for them to do construction. Those who had money would do the construction, then they just refunded or reimbursed after the construction done when money matures in the district account. But nowadays, what the Musevenis did is that they stated that money, no contractor should be given any project in the district or in the municipality or in the city before the money is paid. That is what the Museveni have stated. Why? Because they send money late to the district accounts, and 2, the projects in the districts do not all get done. So when they send money late to the district accounts, that's why development has retarded in many districts in the country. This is something that these district technocrats, mostly the cows and the chief administrative officers, like the one, in most districts you find there, and all those stuff, they will not talk about this, but this is how these people steal money. Now, when the district receives money, it receives money a little late. When it receives money late, that means most projects are not worked on. And when the financial year ends, all the money in district account is again taken back to the consolidated fund. But this is money which was not used. It's taken back to the consolidated fund. That means the district failed to use the money and the government should plan on another money. So what has been happening, the Musevenis and the what have been stealing money from those consolidated funds and using it for the Salim Salehs and all, they've been enriching themselves with those money. Now this time around, they've now gone as far as attacking the mobile money transaction or the Airtel money or even people's bank account. Let me say, like for instance, as I explained earlier, according to this new law, which passed last year, by the way, we begged the mainstream medias in Uganda to publish it. I, for one, begged NBS. We begged NTV. We begged these guys to publish it, but they never did it. Even nation media did not do it. What does this law state? This law was passed last year by Parliament. Was not passed this year. But recently, NBS came out. NBS came out publishing the law, about the law, after us making noise, after feeling ashamed. They came out publishing the law. But the way they published it was very wrong. You know, actually they published it in a way they were defending the government. That government was right to bring that law to steal money from people's mobile account or from people's bank accounts. I still tell you, NBS came out defending the position. Actually, it came out defending government in passing that law. It did not come out explaining to the citizens of Uganda how that law works and how bad and how good that law is. That law is very bad. I grew up in from a very poor background. Many people could have grown up from those poor backgrounds, but that, of course, doesn't determine what I am supposed to be tomorrow, or what I am today, or what I will be tomorrow. So, our parents mostly do transaction or save money or send us money, or we do transaction via mobile money or Airtel money, because in the villages where we come from, there are no banks. That's how we are going to be affected. Now, there is a scenario whereby you need to understand that according to this new law, it states that if you put like 1 million in your mobile money account or Airtel money account for 9 months without any transaction, they will remove that money. Even if 10 million, they will remove that money from your mobile money account. Government has power. Oh, the Bank of Uganda has power now to remove that money and deposit it in a bank account, into the government account, into the consolidated fund. You know, there's something what I call a basket called consolidated fund, where useless money which are not needed now by government arms or by people, are kept. You know? So that is what then in your bank account, if the money stays, if you have like 20 million or 10 million in your bank account and it stays for 2 years without any transaction, they remove it and take it to the consolidated account. And that is where they will steal money to fund the stupid things, the Mozi projects. That is where they will steal your money to enrich themselves and build themselves and save money in tax haven. You know, do you know what we call tax haven? They have very many accounts overseas. You know, in Europe, in wherever, they have very many accounts. What they've invested in Uganda is just a third of what they have on earth here. So that's how they will be stealing your money. So there is something. There is what we call, even in Uganda here, they stated that by the way, once your money is taken in the consolidated account, the government, Matia Kasaija was the other time saying that the money, you can claim back your money if at all good. But let me tell you one thing, even the dead person's money, for them to claim, for you to claim, if you have a sharp lawyer, a lawyer can take 3 years claiming for that money. Sometimes if you don't have a sharp lawyer, you can even take years or even 10 years doing that. In Kenya, the thing is very different. You first listen to me. In Kenya, it's very different. You know, this is what I thought Uganda would copy. First of all, Kenya has this kind of law, by the way, whereby if money is redundant in your account, is not taken, the money is not taken and used, you know, taken to consolidated fund like the way government wants to claim people's money. Because once your money goes to consolidated fund, just forget about that money. They will be using it to fund the Mozi project. They'll be using it to fund the Salim Salehs. They'll be using it to do all the nasty things that they would have done. You know, in Kenya, what happens is that once money is redundant in the account, or in mobile money, or whatever, or in account, they take it to what we call the unclaimed financial asset company. There is what we call, there is an organization which or an entity which has been put aside by government, which is to oversee that. It's not government's activity, but it's some company which has been put in place by government to oversee that. You know, that the organization or the company is called the Unclaimed Financial Asset Company. So once money is redundant in a Kenyan account or in a Kenyan mobile money account or a Kenya bank account, it's taken to the Unclaimed Financial Asset Company. So the owners of those money can go claim it anytime and you can get it. You know, they could say you have been done mistakenly, owners. But in Uganda, once it's taken to the Uganda, actually, Bank of Uganda or the Musevinis have decided to take it to the consolidated fund, where government money is also useless money are also kept. And that's where they'll steal your money to fund the Mozi project, money to fund what stupid things, money to begin bribing a section of noob guys, money to begin bribing to buy Toyota, like to buy Land Cruisers or Range Rovers, which Toyota gave to to chameleon. You think Toyota would be a rich guy if he was not born in a privileged family? You hear him uttering, after all, me, I'm already rich already. I don't care. He doesn't care because there is a lot of taxpayers' money at his exposure. He can steal, he can pick at any time. And that is how these guys are abusing this thing. So I tell you, you need to open up your eyes, you Ugandans. I wanted you to tag these stakeholders, the people I mentioned, so that they have time and go through this live stream. And they begin thinking on how we can begin mounting enough pressure on government to review that law. That law is very, very unfriendly, and that law we shouldn't accept and shouldn't condone in our country. Otherwise, it's going to affect the Omonto more than the rich men. You know, these people, like me, sometimes I can keep my money for even 1 year in the bank without doing any transaction. Because that is what I will be having. I will be saving. Sometimes also, you can keep money in your mobile money for even a year without any transaction. You're saving. But now these people have stated that they're complicating. They know there is a lot of money on mobile money, which people have taken mobile money as a saving entity. So now they want to ruin it. They want to destroy that privilege that we've been having for all our lives. And that is what they want. Just like sometimes back I stated that in Europe, politicians, actually, let me tell you one thing, the biggest weapon the politicians in Uganda are having at their exposure is to keep these Ugandans poor, or these Africans poor, such that they can keep ruling them. That is the biggest weapon they have. If you are poor, they rule you. If you are ignorant and you don't know, or you are not informed about what is happening in the country, they rule you. That is why they have even destroyed our education system. You are looking at our education system is dying. Actually, it was already sick initially before COVID-19. But now, because of COVID-19 and the recklessness of the people in charge of that institution or that sector of government, or that arm of government, it is now in coma. Our education sector is now in coma. You know, and now soon it will die. We don't know whether to come back from coma. Unless government comes out drastically, soberly, to address crises that are coming up and are arising within the education sector. By one government recently got 1 trillion shillings, free money, SDR, a special drawing right from International Monetary Fund. Let them use part of that money to liberate or to rescue the private schools which are being sold. Some few weeks ago, like last month, but I saw on Daily Monitor that there were over 1,000 schools now on sale. 1,000 schools are now on sale because the owners of those private schools failed to raise money to clear debts for the finance institution, the banks that we have in Uganda. So now they are on sale. That is how serious the situation is. Otherwise, right now we have 3 sets of students in one class. I don't know how we shall address it. Either government has to come up and first of all empower these private schools to ensure that they can go. Because let me tell you, the best schools in Uganda right now are the private schools, not these government schools. Tell me, in Gulu we have, let me say in Gulu here, in Gulu we have Kidumai, Guluai, which is already dead. We have Sir Samuel Becker, which is at the dying stage. Those are government schools. We have in Kitgum, we have Kidumai, which is almost dying. They are dying. But now we have upcoming superstar schools, private entities. Let me say Catholic founded schools are lucky because they get funding from Catholic. Like let me say Ochie Campion in Gulu, which is one of the most powerful schools in Gulu. In northern Uganda almost. There's Archbishop Flynn. Those are Catholic founded schools and are powerful and are sounding right because they get enough facilitation from their funders. But now this private founded school, let me say like this, there are very many, So government needs to come up and begin addressing challenges. Otherwise, our schools, our education system, which has already gone in coma, will never come back to life. Will die. And you see, once they keep us ignorant and uninformed about what is happening in Uganda, and 2, they keep us poor, because for you to get out of poverty, you must first of all be educated. And you must first of all understand how the world works and how things are done. So that you can, in the various disciplines of life, of course, which you have studied, so that you can then go and transform your life, or you can go and then change the lives of the people in your community. So if somebody denies you education, first of all, if somebody makes you poor, You cannot afford education and makes education expensive. These people make education expensive and they make you poor and they don't care about your faith in education. Why? Because their children fly abroad overseas to educate themselves on taxpayers' money. You know, mark me, on taxpayers' money. They use taxpayers' money. The money you pay as tax by buying things in Uganda and all this stuff. That is what they use to fly their children abroad overseas to study. You know, for you are rotting down in the grassroots there. And that's how things have been, and that's how things will be. If you do not wake up and begin thinking as a poor person, what do I do with my fellow poor colleague to change things? Otherwise, these rich people here, they don't care about you. You see, I was still telling people that if government doesn't come up to address this issue around education, this issue of crisis around education, one day, the young poor people will turn into a criminal gang and they will begin looting, shooting, doing any nasty thing to survive. Just like we saw thuggery happening everywhere. Because of poverty, people want to survive and eat something. They will go to street and they'll go and begin, you know. So this is something that is very serious. I talked about the mobile money law and the Airtel money law and this issue of how banks are going to be, people's account are going to be thugged from their bank's account. You know, money are going to be thugged from people's bank's account. I'm telling you guys, let's sober up and begin talking something about this. In our media, in our social media accounts. And also, me, I even stopped watching NBS. I stopped watching NTV. I stopped watching Uganda media houses, all the mainstream media houses in Uganda. I want to get news from YouTube or some other channels. Because these things are not helping us at all. You know, instead they're talking what Museveni wants to be on media. You know, they say what Museveni, or they publish what Museveni wants to be on media, not what Ugandans want to be on media. That's how crazy our mainstream media houses have gone. You know? So this is something that we need to open our eyes about. This is something that we need to be talking about. This is something that we need to make noise about. Because it is about our country, my friend. You know, the future of Uganda is in our own hands. How we take it right now determine how Uganda will be like tomorrow. After Museveni is gone. Will you sit and watch these guys ruin and bring the country down? Salim Saleh, who even is not an Acholi, who has never been, Salim Saleh right now has a bus park. He has constructed a bus park in Gulu city, in the heart of the city, by the way. Where did Salim Saleh get that money from? To buy land and construct his bus park, his own bus park in Gulu. Yeah? NRM spent billions of shillings, trillions of shillings in the previous race. Where do you think these guys get money from? Where they spent billions and trillions of shillings bribing noob coordinators across the country in the previous election, hiring mercenaries from Angola, Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, everywhere to come and protect the already fallen government, then Museveni's government, from falling. Where do you think they get those money from? Those are taxpayers' money. Those are taxpayers' money. In Uganda, for the past few decades, for the past three decades that we've been, me, I was born in 1995. For the past 3.5 decades we've been, elections results are not determined by the voters. They're determined by the idiots who count the votes. Several times we've been seeing. So these are things that we should be making noise about, and these are things that we should wake up to and begin talking about. Because if you don't talk about, my friend, this is your country. This is your everything. This is what we call the promised land. There is nowhere we are going to fucking go to apart from here. These are everything. So that's why it should be our concern. It should be our business. I still continue to appreciate Right Honorable, the leader of opposition, Honorable Matthias Mpuga, for exhibiting power and authority yesterday. That is what we need to do. We must show Museveni and his family that this country doesn't belong to them only. This country belongs to Ugandans, not to a family, not to a few goons who, go around worshipping Museveni because they want to get positions in government or because they want money, So this country belongs to us, Ugandans. And these are everything. These are future. These are hope. These are lives. These are everything. We will fight to the last breath of our lives defending and protecting its vision. That it's not brought down just at that time. Otherwise, our children, our grandchildren tomorrow will look down to history and say, indeed, these forefathers of ours were really stupid. When they watch things go the other way, and, right now we shouldn't be talking about issues of tribalism. We should be talking about how these guys are planning to steal our money, our parents' money. In the village where I come from, you move like around 30 kilometers for you to get a bank. A bank. Not even a sustainable one. Sometimes there's no power and the bank is not functional. There's no generator. And also, you walk like 30 kilometers to get a bank. Where I come from, in my village. Now, these motherfuckers here have brought a law. They've brought a law which is going to bar us from saving money on our mobile money accounts. They're going to begin stealing money from our bank's account because that is what we call the recent law, the law which was passed last year, and what we begged the mainstream media to publish. And recently, NBS comes out defending it, instead of explaining to the Ugandans how that law is and how that law is going to affect a common man. They came out defending government, that government did right. Some members of parliament, MPs, even came out on media. Instead of explaining to Uganda how that law is going to work, they came out explaining, saying that, yes, government did right. That is very good. They are appreciating Museveni for passing that law, which is going to make Ugandans even much more poor and poorer. So that is how things are, and that's how things are to be. When we watch things happen that way, you guys better wake up. I don't think whether this is the kind of Uganda we all wanted. Oh, this is the kind of Uganda where that our founders wanted. I don't think whether this kind of Uganda our forefathers wanted. I still say one thing, as I continue. I don't think this is the kind of Uganda our forefathers wanted, or our founders, or founding fathers wanted. So it's our responsibility to begin thinking outside the box. Because if we keep quiet and what is happening, it will happen, right? Museveni, we shall give Museveni the privilege to do whatever he wants to do. By the time Museveni leaves Uganda, we see one day you will wake up and find there's no country. Actually, right now, these guys here, you see NRM say, we have made development. Oh, we have built roads. Oh, we have built a power station. Oh, we've built this hospital. Oh, we've built what? All those things being built are done on borrowed money. And Ugandan assets are being offered as collateral. You hear they could have mortgaged Entebbe, they could have mortgaged Lake Victoria, they could have mortgaged Kampala, the National Water and Sewage Corporation system, people who are supposed to supply water. You do not be surprised to see in a few years to come, Chinese are the ones in charge of the National Water and Sewage Corporation in supplying water to you Ugandans. You will have to pay Chinese taxes to get water, drinking water in Kampala or across anywhere. The dam, the Karumba Dam, that was borrowed money from where? Chinese. The roads in Uganda, Simani Entebbe Express Highway, borrowed money from who? Chinese. The renovation or revamption of Simani whatever, Entebbe International Airport, where money was from where? Chinese. Chinese. One day, I'm telling you, you will wake up and find there is no country. You wake up and find there's no country. You just wake up and find you are owned by some idiots from some other different continent. Why? Because you kept quiet when small things were being done, which grew up and now became a very big thing. NRM and Museveni are the monster of our creation. NRM and Museveni are the monster of our creation. These people here wouldn't have had power this much if we did not give them. You gave them the power. Our forefathers gave them the power in 1986, thinking that Museveni was a demigod. Now Museveni has used the same money that we gave them power. Our forefathers gave them power by voting them in 1986. Now they started using our taxpayers' money to oppress and suppress us so that they can remain in power and stealing money the way they want and keep enrich themselves the way they want. As the poor man is dying down there in the grassroots with the starvation, famine, 2 poor hospitals, poor education. People are getting ignorant and illiterate every day, do everything. And this is how the things have been for the past few decades that have been alive and have been seeing. And that we've been alive. If up to now, somebody is still running around supporting a young person, let me say a young person or a youth is still running around supporting NRM, supporting Museveni, just know that person has a psychological problem, has a serious psychological problem. Because at this age here, after all has happened, after all is happening, or has been happening, all that will happen, you still support this regime, then you must be having a mental problem and you must go to a psychiatrist to check you up. You are not healthy. You are having a mental problem. Because of all these things that have been happening, I don't think whether this is the right way or the direction that the founding fathers of this country wanted for this country. They wanted us to have a better life, a better country. They wanted us to have a nation, not a family affairs kind of thing, whereby you wake up from nowhere and reward your wife with a ministry. It's a gift from on her birthday. Whereby you wake up from nowhere, you reward your son with a high rank system in the army. Whereby you wake up, you reward your nepotism is almost everywhere. You wake up and reward your tribesmate with a position in government. You wake up, you award your in-laws with a position in government to be in charge of running affairs of the country. A country which has, you wake up, you award your tribe mates, tribalism. A country which has over 45 million people and with over 52 tribes. You want to keep things around your family. You have even gone crazily to begin intermarriages among us. You don't even care about incest. You intermarry among yourself so that wealth rotates within that small circle as the poor man continues suffering down there in the grassroots. And that is how you want things to be. And that is how you want the country to be. You think when you're dying, you want to die with everything. You know, when you're dying, you want to die with everything. You don't want to leave anything for generations to live for, to have for, to start from. You want to die with everything when you are dying. How selfish and how greedy are you? And how crazy are you? Is that not madness? These are some of the things that we are talking about, and this is what is really paining me, and this is why I still want you to understand that you shouldn't back down. Somebody might say, I am in Democratic Party. Somebody might say, I am in Alliance for National Transformation. Somebody might say, I am in National Unity Platform. Somebody might say, I am in... I don't care about that fucking political party you belong to. I care about Uganda. The future of Uganda, the future of our children. After all, these colors and these parties has really divided Ugandans seriously. Whereby we cannot even stand on a principle that matters about the future of our country. You know, this issue of Simanya belonging to a political party has really, the person who brought this political party thing, really, this thing has really worked for Museveni. He's dividing Ugandans along as a political line, along as a tribal line, along as a religion line. You know, people are just divided and confused. They don't know what they want in their lives. That's why Museveni is ruling, and Museveni will continue ruling. Museveni is looting, and will continue looting. Museveni is abusing human rights, and will continue abusing human rights. When it comes to the UN, you had the other time when he was addressing the United Nations. Human rights, we are respecting human rights. We are doing what? You know? He tells the world that everything is okay in Uganda. That's what he wants to portray to the world. Yet things are not okay. How can things be okay in Uganda when Alan Sewanyana and Segrinya Mohammed, who are members of parliament, leaders, elected leaders, and fully sworn in to be legislators and represent their constituents in the parliament, are in custody for things they don't even understand? Instead of being in parliament, Segrinya and Alan Sewanyana are now behind bars. Yet plenary is proceeding. How will they represent the voice of people from Kawempe or from Machindi, where they come from? You know, I need to ask you, how will they represent the voice of the people from Machindi or yet they're behind bars? Being pinned for something they don't understand, I don't know. When Museveni saw that the society was not believing him when he stated that Alan Sewanyana and Segrinya were the ones who killed these, who were involved in this killing in Masaka, he had to begin bringing Kanokaka. You know, innocent Kanokaka, that Kanokaka is the one good. Now, I still do not believe that Kanokaka was the one even having hands in the Masaka thing. They know the people who are involved in this thing. Let him go and look for the right people who are involved in this thing here. Museveni has said himself, let him go and look for them. You see, unless you Ugandans, or we Ugandans, begin making our country our business, our country our concern, our country our everything, we are headed to a very, very, very wrong direction. We are headed to a very, very wrong direction. Anyway, as I come to a conclusion of this small interview live stream, I still want to repeat to you recently, last year, government of Uganda, Museveni, after finding out that Ugandan were saving money, a lot of money on mobile money, Ugandans were saving a lot of money and redundant in a bank. You know, poor people do not get money every day. I might get money today and put in my mobile money account. Then I might get money after next year. Again, put on my mobile money account. That is my format of saving. Poor people do not get money every day. There are very many people who are not salarized. They do not have money for salary. So you find they get money today and they put in their bank accounts. They might get up to next year and again put in their bank accounts. So now the Musevenis have now planned to make us even much more poorer by stealing the rest, the little we have, or we would be saving. Now, what is happening is that under the law that was passed last year about issues of mobile money, Airtel money, and bank, I'm repeating this, under the law which was passed last year, which we begged the mainstream media to publish, but they refused to publish intentionally, you know. So under the law, it states that if your money has stayed, if you put money in your mobile money account or in your Airtel money account, and it stays for more than 9 months without any transaction, government of Uganda as powers will remove that money through the powers that it has been given, that it has given to Bank of Uganda, will connect with those mobile money companies and will remove that money and take it to what we call consolidated fund for stealing to fund Mwozi project and all those stuff. 2, if your bank account has stayed with the money for like 2 years without you doing any transaction, they will remove that money and take it to Bank of Uganda into the consolidated fund, to what we call consolidated fund. In consolidated fund means a basket where useless money or unuseful money or useless money that are not needed, are kept. And they say that you can claim for it. This is serious thuggery. You know, the thing is different. In Kenya, this law was there, has been there for a long time, but in Kenya it's different and it's more friendly to the citizens of Kenya. That government has put in place, there is an entity called the Unclaimed Financial Asset Company. It's a company which has been put in place by government of Kenya to help handle that issue of money. You know, money of almost like unuseful money and all stuff. So the company is called the Unclaimed Financial Asset Company. It's in Kenya. If you are to go to read the constitution of Kenya, you'll find this out. So what happens in Kenya is that when money is given, when there is redundant money in mobile money accounts or in government or in personal bank accounts, the money is removed and taken to what we call the Unclaimed Financial Asset Company Limited account. When sent there, you have opportunity. You can claim for your money even in a week or in a month or even in a year. But in Uganda, once your money goes to the consolidated fund, you will never get it. You forget about it. Now, for the dead people whose money will be taken to consolidated fund, for the people who dead people, you know, people could be saving money in mobile money accounts or in their banks, and their money will be taken to consolidated. For the dead people, even you forget about them. But for the dead people, once their money is taken to the consolidated fund of this Ugandan thing, you will, if you get a good lawyer, let me say like in Uganda, the Nicholas Opios, the Semakades, and also if you get a good lawyer, you can take maybe 3 or 4 years to get your money, or even you might forget about it. You know, who knows? You might have to forget about it. You might take 10 years or even the rest of your lifetime hunting for that money. I will never get it. That is how these people have become thieves. Now, the consolidated fund, once the money goes there, you forget about it. In Kenya, people claim for their money and they can get it. The law is different. The same law is applicable, is being used in both countries. But the way the law is being implemented is different in both countries, in either country. In Kenya, it's favorable to the citizen. In Uganda, it's very unfavorable to the citizens. Okay? This is what I wanted to share with you in regards to this subject matter. I believe you've understood what I've explained to you, and I believe you've